Okay, we're going to look at something called fraction of a quantity. The first problem we're going to look at is finding a half of 4/5. Okay, now looking at a half of 4/5, this rectangle represents one whole. The first thing I'm going to do is divide that rectangle into fifths. Okay, so we're going to divide that into fifths there. So we'll split those cells into 5 equal parts. We've got fifths, and it's 4/5, so we want to colour in 4 of those pieces, 4 of those fifths. Okay, so let's colour that in. There we go. So we've got 4/5. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to then find a half of 4/5. So we're going to divide that one whole into half. Okay, so to do that, we're going to get our pen and divide that in half. Okay, so I'm just going to draw a line down the middle here. Okay, so I've divided that in half. All right, and we want a half of the 4/5. Now, 4/5 is all of the yellow bit, but we want a half of that. So we're just going to color in half of that. There we go. Now, the bit that I've colored in, what fraction does that represent? Well, let's count the pieces. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 pieces altogether, and we have colored in 4 of those. So the answer to our question, what is a half of 4/5, is 4/10. Now there is a quicker way of doing this, right? The diagram is how to understand it, but we want a quick way of doing this. Okay, so the quick way is to write down a half, right? Now we're going to write down times. So instead of the of, we'll put times. In mathematics, of is equivalent to times. Okay, so let's write that down. Of, let's rub that out for a minute. So of means multiply in mathematics. So just replace the of there with the times sign. Okay, so I've got half times 4/5. Now, to multiply two fractions, I first multiply the numerators together. So 1 times 4 is 4. And then I multiply the denominators together. 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, and we can simplify that. We think of what goes into 4 and 10. Well, 2 goes into 4, so 2 goes into 4 twice, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So my final answer is 2/5. Okay, so in essence, all you're going to do is change the of to a times and then multiply the two fractions. So let's have a look at our next question. We've got 2/3 of 12. Now, of means times. Okay, so let's write that down as a reminder. Of is equal to times. So we're going to go 2/3 times 12. Okay, now you notice that 12 is a whole number, but we can write it as a fraction because 12 is the same as 12 over 1. Okay, so for whole numbers, you're going to write them over 1 if there's no denominator. Now, you're going to multiply. 2 times 12 is 24, and then 3 times 1 is 3, which is the answer, but we can do better than that. 24 divided by 3 is 8. Now pause the video and try this question here, 3/4 of $28. Okay, so let's have a look at the answer. So we've got 3/4, we change the of into a times, and then we have 28. Now remember, for whole numbers, we write them over 1. Okay, now we've got 3/4 times 28 over 1. So we're going to go 3 times 28 and then 4 times 1. However, it's going to be quicker if we simplify the fraction before we multiply. Now this is a numerator and this is a denominator. So we can simplify the 4 with the 28. Now think of what goes into 4 and 28. Well, 4 goes in it, doesn't it? So 4 goes into 28 7 times, and 4 goes into 4 once. Okay, so now we've got 3 times 7, which is 21, and then we have 1 times 1, which is 1. And 21 divided by 1 is just 21. And don't forget to put the dollars. Okay, so 3/4 of 28. So just remember, change the of into a times. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Finding 3/10 of 2 kilometers. Okay, so let's do the same thing again, which is we're going to change the of into times. We're going to write down, now it's got to be in meters. You've got to be careful here, it's got to be in meters. So we've got to write this down as 2,000 meters. Now, it's a whole number, so we're going to put that over 1. Okay, and now we could just multiply the fraction. We'd like to simplify beforehand if we can. That'll make the multiplication easier. So if you look at the 10 and the 2,000, we've got a numerator and denominator pair there. So what goes into 10 and 2,000? Well, 10 does. So 10 goes into 10 once, and 10 goes into 2,000 200 times. Okay, so 3 times 200 is 600, and 1 times 1 is 1. 600 divided by 1 is 600, and that is in meters, so you need to put meters there for your answer. Okay, next question, do by yourself. I want you to pause the video and have a go at this one. 3/5 of 1 minute in seconds. Okay, so we're going to write down 3/5. We're going to change the of into multiply, and 1 minute is 60 seconds. So we're going to put 60 there, and a whole number is over 1. Okay, so now we could simplify again here. So let's have a look. We've got 5 and 60. What goes into 5 and 60? Well, 5 does. 5 goes in there once and goes into 60 12 times. Now 3 times 12 is 36. 1 times 1 is 1. 36 divided by 1 is 36. And that should be seconds there. Okay, so copy all of that down into your book, and then you're going to do exercise 405, question 1 to 8, every second problem.